Pleasant day to all of you, and welcome to the BCBP Way of Life Retreat Seminar. And today, I'm gonna explain about the talk number 6. You have passed through all the talks from talk number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we are in the talk number 6. This is love for country. It's so patriotic. Everybody would say, what is BCBP doing for a love of country teaching? Why do we have a subject for love for country as a BCBP member? Where BCBP stands for Brotherhood of Christian Businessmen and Professionals. We're not a political group. We are actually apolitical. And why should we talk about patriotism and love for country? All your questions will be answered by this talk. The objective of these talks is how to steward, number 1, our family, our workplace, community as a whole, and BCBP as a community. In this talk, let me start by the Gospel of St. Mark, chapter 12, 30 to 31. And it talks about love your Lord, your God, with all your heart, with all your soul. Love your neighbor as yourself. It is one of the greatest commandments. In fact, there were 10 commandments and it is summarized into 2 only. 2 commandments. Love your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, with all your strength. And love your neighbor as yourself. There is no greater commandment other than this. The New Testament actually changed the 10 commandments into 2. And that's why it is defined in Mark chapter 12 verses 30 to 31. Love your neighbor. Love for God. Love for God means our respect, our trust and faith to Him. It will be defined in this talk how we put everything to God. You don't worry about tomorrow. Let God do His work, worrying about tomorrow. Because God says 365 times in the Bible, do not worry, do not think, it's my work. Just trust and faith. Then love your neighbor. Your neighbor. Do not steal. Do not cheat for him. Do not talk bad words. Do not kill. All these words, all these things define for love your neighbor. And this is actually the things that this talk all about. Love for a country is also love for neighbor, because citizens are neighbors. Country is composed of citizens and they are our neighbors. The next slide, for example, is Leviticus 19:16. Talks about, you shall not defraud your neighbor. Ay panikas, do not cheat. You shall not steal, and you shall not keep yourself the wages of a laborer until morning. Meaning, in the old age, you have to pay your labor in the same day. And that's why in Leviticus, which is an Old Testament, talks about do not keep the wages of the labor until morning. But the message is very clear. The message is that you should pay fairly, meaning what is due for Juan should be given to Juan. SSS, fair health. In our companies, we practice all these things. There are, of course, dispute between employees and employers, and you should fairly face them in the right place and department. For example, Department of Labor. If should there will be disputes in your company. So fairness is part and parcel. Fairness is part of a parcel of a practice of a right of a BCBP way of life. Next is, there are three things that you have to remember of being a steward. I like to focus on the word steward. Steward means is that it is the one authorized to manage possessions, meaning your friend owns a very big place and he is now in United States, and he would say, "Hey Pedro, why don't you manage my place and my hotel for me?" So you become a steward. If you ride a plane, there's always a stewardess and there's always a steward, male, no? Because they take care of the possession, the plane, take care of the customers. And this taking care of positions, you are being authorized and you are responsible. One thing I like to focus, number one, owner, is that everything that you possess today, cars, houses, you may have money in the banks, in all kinds of banks, mag-BDO, mag-BPI, mag-Bank, owner is God. BCBP member acknowledges that we don't own anything. It is owned by Almighty God. We are just a steward. Taga-bantay, taga in Philippine word, in Bisaya, we are just watching it. We don't own it. It is very important that you acknowledge this one, because anything that God wants you to watch and you acknowledge as a steward, you don't feel, painfully if you lost anything. Why? Because you're just a steward. God gave and God taken away. One day you have so many money. The next day you spend a lot of money because of many things. One day you have a very good business. God said, the next day your business is closed. You can just pray, "Lord, I'm just a steward. You are the owner." Second, of a steward, there are characters of a steward, meaning you are trustworthy. If you own a possession, if you own a treasure and you give this to your friend, for a stewardship, make sure na this guy is trustworthy. If you give him the gold, he is not selling at your back. Trustworthy. You can trust. You leave the house to him for 5 years, the next day it is being sold to another owner. No, that is not trustworthy. Next is the integrity. As a steward, God has been able to trust you. That if He trusts you with these possessions, with His money, with this treasure, you're gonna use this in the right way. And you are a person with integrity, meaning you don't use this in any bad deeds. Next is the competence. The competence goes to a person. You know how to manage. If you are being assigned to manage a ship like me, I'm a ship managing or a truck manager. So our ships are being assigned to me, plenty of ships. I should have the competence to run it. So of course I'm a ship captain. I have masters in London on shipping management, and because of this competence, the ship owners trusted me to be the steward of the ship. The same with God. God knows that you have the competence to save money, to run your company, to employ people for His kingdom. Then you have the right competence. So you have the honesty. You cannot cheat God. God says, I give you this money and you have to return to me this money. It's in the form of a tithe, which is 10%. In fact, in Catholic practice, we don't practice 10%, but honest goodness, you have to do it. You're not giving donations. No. One day, you'll realize, if you calculate it properly, say you're earning 100,000, 10,000 you should go back to God. Or you're not giving it to Him. One way or another, He will take it. Maybe your slippers the next day are being lost. Maybe your cow is being stolen. One way or another. It's always be leveled out. Believe me. And honesty of being a steward is very important. You don't cheat God. You don't cheat the owner of the property. Transparency meaning you give transparency. Why when we give donations, we are transparent? Because we want to show God that we're doing this for you. You give us things, you give us benefits, you give us treasures, you give business, we're giving back to you. You know, for many years we try to, maybe since 2014, we try to support hundreds of nuns going to become a nuns, women of vocation. And it is in Nueva Ecija and it is in Carmen. And a certain sect under Catholic Church. So, the reason that I share this to you is that when we share to them a certain donation, whether our business is good or bad, and it is a monthly donation, it is our commitment for transparency. It is our commitment for God to support these people who would like to serve God but they don't have the treasures to do it. This is one thing that we want to share. And the courage with concern. The courage with concern is that as a BCBP member, as a Christian, you don't only see by yourself, your family, you're eating right, but the others are not eating right. The whole society also you have to see. And later I will discuss more about this. The circle. We have the inner circle. This is what we call the circle of influence. And we have the outside circle. This is the circle of concern. So I'm gonna show you and explain more about this one. The circle of concern are the whole society. It's the community. It's a community. The circle of influence is those we have the influence, the power to influence. For example, my company, my people, I can influence them, I can force them. This is the circle of influence, and this is the circle of concern, which is beyond our control. This retreat, this seminar, talks about how we go on, how we serve and love our country by focusing the center of influence. Now, the center of influence should grow. Let your circle of influence grow. From this small circle, make it a very big circle. How? How can we make it big? So that the whole society will be covered by the circle of influence. For example, we have to learn the characters of stewardship. Number one, the stewardship of family, the stewardship of workplace, the stewardship of BCBP, and the stewardship of society. This is about growing your circle of influence. In family, in my YouTube channel, there's a family talk which is part of BCLP. It's called the family, the Christian family. And family is the fundamental school. In the right stewardship, it is the school for a citizen. Our family members is also citizens. So the first influence, the nearest one, is a family. So we have to teach our children. The first one is teach them the stewardship. A picture like this, when Odette came in 2021, we have to work by our own. We had no employees. My kids, we have to fix the farm, the cottages, and we have to teach them the stewardship. Meaning, God entrusted these things to us, and there was a calamity, And we should take care of this property because He entrusted this. We try to repair by ourselves. We teach them the stewardship, that whatever you have, whatever we have, are God's property, and therefore, we should be able to restore them. We should be able to take care of them, because time will come and say, hey, Brother Rodien, how's my property? And we can say, Lord, this is still very good and it is done for your purpose. Next is that, second is teach them character. What's character we're talking about? For example, during Udet, we teach them the value of money, but we also teach them that things has to be shared. We have nothing to share. Everybody was a victim, including us, but there were more victims, and that's one thing we have to share. So during those times, even that we lost a lot of money, that even we lost our businesses, it was tough. But there were people who lost the houses, the whole livelihood, and they have no food, and still we have to help. So whatever we have to do it. And the teaching of character as this one, and we teach them even in summer classes that they have to work for our companies. They have to do things for themselves, and they have to do things for our company, and they have to take care of their money. Okay, in summer when they work for us, they give them allowance, and they teach them how to take care of their money. And they also to teach them how to take care for themselves, like the kids. They have to love each other and to take care by each other. In our company, we have certain rules. In our family, certain rules. The kids has to share money. If one, like the eldest one, will get money, let's say 100 peso, the 25% of the 25 peso of the 100 pesos shall be given among the siblings. It is automatic since the very beginning. And this is sharing method that we are. This is character building. Third one is that it's a value of money and time. So during pandemic, for example, there were a lot of times, so they have to study a lot of many things, and because time is very valuable, and they have to study the finance of the company, they have to study new skills, the music, they have to study also extracurricular activities for the school, and extra skill for them to know. And we have to show them how to take care of the dogs, and these are the kind of things that we're doing in a family level. The fourth one is responsibility building, character building, and generosity. Like every Christmas, hundreds of people come. It's been like the last 14 years. Whether we lose our business, we make money or not, they just come and ask gifts from us. We cannot just say no. And it's just a matter of saying responsibility. It's not our responsibility. It's the character that is being built. It's a respect for the people that comes. It's a generosity that we try to build them. That the money that we have, the blessings that you have, you're just a steward for it. And you have the responsibility to share it as per God's commandment, because He is the ultimate owner of what you have. The fifth one is the necessity of sacrifice. The necessity of sacrifice for the kids is very important. They have to sacrifice for others. They have to distribute anything. They have to volunteer on social distributions. They have to sacrifice in many things, like for example, household chores, like lolas, a lot of works. They have no servants there, and you have to help. So not only that, the community itself. Next is the workplace. So we talk about the family. The inner circle, the innermost circle is family. So we train them how to be a good citizen. Now we go to a workplace. Why a workplace? If you're a manager, because BCBP is businessmen and professionals, meaning you have an influence in your office. It's either your manager or an owner like me. Then you must have the workplace as a school for good citizens. The workplace, for example, good stewards like us work that all stakeholders win, meaning your clients win, your people win. They're being properly paid. Your clients had the right services, has the right products, and safety is there. Okay? I show you this one for example. It is profitability. That's only profit of us as a business owner. The profit of the clients, the commitment for the right service, the safety of the people, and the quality of the service. Business owners like us should do this one. And there supposed to be a commitment. As a BCBP member, company owners like us, and professionals and managers like the others should be able to influence their company to deliver the right product fairly to the customers and to the clients. Next is that the character for a workplace. There should be an efficiency, integrity, the concern, the fairness, the competence, the sustainability, the honesty, and the righteousness. All this character, all these attributes should define the right company. Then BCBP as a school for good citizens. Okay, there were two schools I mentioned: the family, the workplace, and the third one is the community as a school of citizenship. So BCBP, number one, has a deeper conversion leading to growth as men and women of God. So meaning, if you gonna do a deeper conversion to growth, why? Because there's a BCBP breakfast. We invited people to come to invite to breakfast. This is a conversion medium, a place, a site for them to attend and to be converted. The next one is that strengthen relationship to God and spouses and partners, like the BCMR. BCBP has the brotherhood, or BCBP has the BCBP Christian Marriage Retreat, which is strengthening the relationship to God and the spouses and the parents. This is BCMR. This is about strengthening the relationship of couple and to God. The third one is the stewards of businessmen and professionals, the BCBR. How you conduct your businesses, how you make empire. This empire business should be able to serve God, not you. So the fourth one is the open hearts to others. BCBP as a community has open heart to others. Love and care, the breakfast, the community, the service, the different level of action group service. The fifth one is the serve the community through breakfast and others. So there's a breakfast fellowship, and there's a social fellowship, the medical mission that we did, the other services that we do to the society, to the needy, the distribution of foods when we do our tasking. This is the serving the community through breakfast and other. Next is that learning stewardship. It's a review. The family as a school, the workplace as a school for good citizens, and the BCBP. Then the last one is the society. We cannot touch the society. In the circle that we had, remember, let your inner circle of influence grow. You cannot touch this whole big circle. It's only of growing the small circle, which is the circle of influence. What is the small circle again? The inner circle where we can influence is the family, the BCBP, and the workplace. Again, the family, the workplace, and the BCBP. That's the inner circle. You cannot touch the whole society. It's the circle of concern. By growing the inner circle, by developing, making good stewards, making good citizens, the inner circle of family, BCBP, and the workplaces, then we can touch the whole society. as we grow, in this drawing, we can reach the whole country. And this is loving of country talk. It's all about. It talks about the strategy of how it can be done through family, workplace, and the BCBP as a community. Special contribution to the country. This is not money, but what you can do. You will say, don't complain. Ask not the politicians do to you, but ask yourself what you are doing to your country. So these are the special contributions to the country. Number one, elect the right officials. Okay, elect the right officials. The right official should have the character of BCBP member. The integrity, the honesty, the competence, and all these kind of checklists that we have. Number two is that be honest campaign. In your company or in your trucks, there must be be honest campaign. Next one is the traffic rules. Follow traffic rules. It's just example. Follow the rules and constitution of the country. Whatever the regulations of the country, your company, just follow it. It's one of the things that is required for a good citizen. And the fourth one, which is the care for environment. The care for environment is that what you can do. Do not litter, Kang ay paglabay basura. And care for environment is that, for example, this is a mangrove planting or a tree planting. So we in our company, we have 2 farms. We try to develop farms for the betterment of the country and betterment of the whole world in general. And this is care for environment. Next one is pay the right taxes. For somebody to say that there's only one certain, 2 things certain is world. Number 1, death, and number 2 is taxes. But you have to pay the right taxes. Pay the BIR if you're a businessman, and if you're an employee, you're paying your income tax every month. So you have to pay it. Pay rightly and justly. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, I can always say all these things. I will end my talk always with this word from Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. All things. Everything, your challenges, your problems can be solved if you trust Christ. You can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4 verse 13. Brothers and sisters, I am Brother Rodien Paca of BCBP Talisay, and I have the phone number and email address. Thank you for listening. I hope that you have learned something for this talk. To God be the glory. Good afternoon.